What's up? I'm Nate G219 and this is the Help It Back and Better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that channel if y'all want to help out. Today is May 3rd, about 11:30 in the morning. You know that's the irrelevance. And I do apologize. My allergies been just up and down, and as you see, I'm stuffy. It's just been a miserable spring for allergies so far. But you know, the irrelevance for today is the irrelevance for today because it's irrelevant. So, you know, in my last video I had, well, it was a two-part interview, and this is part 3. And this is an interview with Mr. Matthew Murzynski. Matthew was involved in unaliving a young woman named Kimberly Dyer. And he didn't act alone, but he did act, and he's serving a punishment of 65 years with his earliest possible release date being 2069. So, very, very long time from now. Very, very long time from now. So, you know, one thing I've learned, most of the men I talk to that are incarcerated, whether they believe or whether they admit they did it or not, 99% of them do not accept the fact that they're going to be there or are going to be there for the rest of their lives or for a majority of their lives. They can't get over that. They can't get over the fact that the mistake that they committed has put them in prison for a very, very large duration of time. And Matthew knows he's in prison for a very long duration of time. One thing I wanted to point out, because I've talked to him since the interview, which we've talked more, we're going to do another part, because a victim of, or a family member of Miss Dyer reached out to me, and she wasn't rude or anything like that. She was actually very kind to me, and she was, I'm sure, taken back, and I do apologize, ma'am. I did not want to hurt your feelings. I didn't want to do any of that, because my heart does go out to you, your family, anybody that was friends related to Miss Dyer. My heart goes out to you truly, and I am sorry for your loss. But for part 3, let's get into the recorded interview. This was recorded Easter Sunday, April 20th. But yesterday we had left off on our interview, and you had said that you were in the military, and you were in the Marines. Did you see any combat? No.
I was just a motor key operator mechanic.
Okay. So, but you were influenced, you had met somebody that was a Latin King in the military, and was he from the same area you were? Is that somebody you kept in contact with?
Yes, it was.
So was he by any chance of one of these men involved in the case as well?
No, he was not.
Okay. That was just something I was curious about. This was something you had talked about, is the camaraderie, and I hear that a lot. And there's nothing like the camaraderie between military and a real organization, how it's supposed to be, designed to be, how they lie to us and tell us it's going. And that's very true. Like when we're starting to jump off the porch, starting to gangbang and stuff like that, the guys that are our role models, make it seem like this is the thing to do. This is fun. This is that. This is all that. This is fun. Let me tell you one thing. Parts are fun, but The reality is that it only leads to two places, and that's prison. Three places: prison, dead, and hell. That's it. To be, all that stuff. And now, how old were you when you caught the case?
I was about 22 years old, 22, 23.
So, if you remember the last interview, he didn't even jump off the porch. He didn't even start becoming an active gang member until 22. So, damn, almost as soon as you got out of the Marines.
As soon as I got out, yeah.
My gosh. So you weren't even running around for a long time on the streets at all. No, I'm sure there are things that you want to say. What do you want to say the most? Okay, we had talked a little bit about your childhood. Touching on the drugs and how heavily, besides the fact that they were building the case against you, it sounds like it was something that they were trying to do just in case maybe they did get in trouble at some point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it seemed like to me. But what had the biggest influence on the whole case taking fold? Like, what ensued? Like, besides, I'm not talking about the notebook falling out, but the whole incident at the house, and then what led on to what?
Why it went to the extent it did? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Why things?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, but it all really stems from that book. You know what I'm saying? At first, it was really just her stealing my property and some of the things that we had going on. I mean, that shit was easily recovered. You know what I'm saying? It was recovered. So really, at that point, the situation was really done and over with. Just kick the bitch out the way and let her go on her way. What really extended everything was that book, and then the name that I had seen that that really caught my eye. He's like really one of my really really close friends, damn near like family to me. And he had just got locked up on a dope case and had been fighting for some, for his life on this dope case. And his name was in that book, so that really hit home with me. So I took it personally. So at that point in time, when I took that personal, everything kind of switched, it flipped, and that's when everything just really got crazy and things like that. And the other dude that was with me, he had a connection to this dude too as well.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So when we went through what we were going through, we put her in the basement, things like that, questioned her consistently. I don't even know how. I don't really want to get in super detail.
Right. Yeah.
That stuff, but just things went down, things happened. At one point in time, we even planned to let the chick go. You know what I'm saying? We let her go. We're like, hey, listen, she was crying for her kids, and said, we're like, you know what? We're taking this a little too far. Maybe she gets to the point she's never gonna do this again.
Absolutely.
Hey, she said, I want to call my family. I want to call my family. Call my people. I'm like, well, you know what? That really hit home with me because I had a family at the time too. So I'm like, man, I can't take this person from her family. So we cut her loose, let her go, let her shower and things. And instead of her taking that phone call, calling her kids like she said she wanted to, she sat back on the couch and was like, hey, can we get high? And to me, that just threw me right back into a frenzy. And me being off the drugs and shit already, I really wasn't thinking clear anyway. So that threw me back into a frenzy. Like, what? Woman, we just gave you another chance to go home to your family, and all you can think about right now is getting high. So that threw it right back into the same situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Push it to that extent. You know what I'm saying? When you got some people that are addicted to a drug that's so mentally changing to that personality of them to put them in a stressful situation, and then to even push it further than that and put anger into the mix. man, it's all a cocktail for disaster.
Absolutely is. How many days had you been up at this point? Had you been going for a little while?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say about 5 at the time, to be honest with you, that I could safely say that about 5.
Think about that. Wide awake for 5 days. So, from what I understand, you start to hallucinate. Things start to happen mentally. You see things. You getting into a state of paranoia. Now, I've never personally experienced with the meth, but from what I've heard and witnessed other people going through, wow, that's all I've got to say about that. I mean, it's sad, and they'll make you think the worst possible thoughts. I'm not going to lie. One time I did almost try it while I was in prison, and there was, I want to say, 5 or 6 of us in a single man cell. We were sitting around, and around comes a light bulb, and people, one after another, I saw them take a puff off this light bulb, and their eyes go from they're talking to eyes are solid black, like they had black contacts in. And I was sitting in there with some randoms, a couple neutrons, and then King Shorty. King Shorty was called King Shorty because he was like 5'2", but I mean, he was a good young dude. And we were the last two, and they went to pass it to him, and he looked at me, and I said, I think I'm going to go to my cell. I don't want no smoke. Like, I started thinking about how many of these guys probably got twacked out on meth and then accidentally unalived somebody or unalived somebody intentionally because of under false pretenses, whatever their head was doing. And, you know, the drugs are everywhere in there. But my one question sitting in that cell was, where in the hell did that light bulb come from? It was a regular, you know, light bulb that you screw into a wall. The only light bulbs I saw were either this big for reading lamps or they were fluorescent lights for the prison. Where the hell did this light bulb come from? And how the hell did it come in? Because it didn't come in the way the drugs came in. Oh, man, and if it did, man, could you imagine that person just trying to float so it didn't break in their butt cheeks or in their holy of all holes? But let's continue. So, yeah, you're absolutely not thinking clear at all at that point in time.
Absolutely not, no.
Yeah, and nobody is. And the thought of getting out of that situation with your life and then to want to get high, I could see where that would be angering. And not excusable, though. Not excusable by any chance. And besides, I know you're very regretful. You sound very remorseful for everything that had happened. I mean, it sounds very genuine. You don't even have to say it. Because I had... And that's the difference sometimes when you're talking to people. And they may tell you they feel bad and stuff like that. But, you know, you can feel remorse, you can feel regret, you can feel sorrow, and not just sympathy because you're locked up. He has told me he belongs in prison. He has told me this. He knows what he did was wrong, and he lives with regret every single day, every single moment of every single day. He lives with remorse and regret. And unfortunately, because of this interview and him talking to me, he ended up in a fight. One of his so-called brothers was mad because he was doing an interview with me. His punk-ass cellmate went and told, who is a neutron, who's not part of any organization whatsoever, went to this dude's the higher ranking member of the Land Kings, the higher ranking member than this guy. He followed the chain of command at least, even as a neutron. And this guy ends up in a fight, and now he's in the SHU. He's in the secure housing unit in Wabash Correctional Facility in the state of Indiana. And it's all because he's regretful, remorseful, and he's telling his story. He's not implementing anybody. He's not, none of that. None of it. So let's get back into it. And I do feel a little guilty that he's in the hole, but he said, he told me, do not feel bad. And he's looking forward to the next interview. Heard some comments from some of the other gentlemen involved in it. And it didn't seem like anybody had King Duke seemed to care a little bit, but another individual didn't seem to care as much as you do, and I think that's what made me want to contact you. I think, like, this man seemed to have something going for him, and was this like just really one big bad decision that ended basically the lives of 5 people? Yeah. I mean, it's such a sad situation. Now, if there is anything you could tell your 12-year-old self, what would you tell your 12-year-old self?
Honestly, you follow your dreams, follow what you want to do, and don't give up because things got hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when things do get stressful, take a step back, take a breather, regroup with yourself, and push forward in the most positive in the right direction that you think is most appropriate at that point in time. Don't stop, and don't let nobody tell you no, you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? That you're not worth it. That you're not what you are. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
Take every little moment and savor it, because you never know when that last moment's going to be your last.
Absolutely, because an EPRD with that distance is an unbelievable one. I mean, it EPRD is earliest possible release date, which again, for Matthew, is the year 2069. I mean, 2069. I mean, that's crazy. It's a long time. I mean, it does give you hope, unlike some, to eventually maybe things change. But all you can do now is spread a positive message, and it seems like you're doing fairly well in there. I'm talking to you from not 23-1 anymore, correct? Or are you still on lockdown?
No, I'm not.
No, I didn't think so. So I mean, you want to get your life straight and send a positive message, and I can tell that very, very, very clearly from the second I started talking to you. Like, yeah, this is definitely a man I want to talk to. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording for now, and we're going to definitely continue this conversation and this interview more and more in the future, because I'm going to have questions coming in, and I'm going to be playing a middleman. So, but thank you for this interview, but go ahead and stay on the phone. We'll continue to talk. All right, yeah. That was part 3 to the Matthew Murzynski interview. And there's going to be part 4, maybe more after that. A couple other interviews I'm working on. Going to probably get one either later today or tomorrow. But the man's remorseful. And not once did he say, hey, I'm trying to file paperwork. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? He's been using his own money to call me. Because I can't support it. I wish if I had a few extra bucks, I'd absolutely throw it on phone accounts just to get interviews, just to get them. Because one of the things we're going to get into is the atrocity, the chaos and sick, just prison. We're going to get into some prison stories. We're going to get into a lot of stuff, guys. But hey, never forget life's choices, guys, because one false mistake, wasn't even gangbanging for a couple of years, ends up with a 65-year sentence. Think about it. He had things going for him. He was a Marine. All that. But hey, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if y'all want to help out. Always remember, though, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.